Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Walls. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel today. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. Just a short update video from me. I was hoping really for some more news over the last couple of days or so, but there's still a few bits to sink our teeth into. I was hoping for more, but let's see. Hopefully, now the international break's over the next week or so, when players start to return from holidays, we start to see things ramp up a little bit more. But as always, be sure to smash the like button down below. Your support is always appreciated. Let's try and hit 300 likes on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we close in on 20,000 subscribers. But today we did have a piece of news that Wolves have confirmed yet again another pre-season friendly. This time we will be hosting Celta Vigo in the Sol Molineux friendly. Of course, we only tend to play at Molineux once every pre-season. And it is going to be on Saturday, the 9th of August, the week before the season kicks off, against Celta Vigo, who we did play a couple of years ago as well. I think they beat us 1-0. Iago Aspas scoring a penalty. Jorgen Strandhouse's former club, of course, so may well have been agreed as part of that deal. I don't know. But yeah, the week before the season kicks off, season ticket holders can go free as part of the new season ticket renewal. So I don't tend to go to this game, but because it's free of charge, it'd be a no-brainer not to go, to be completely honest. So that one's confirmed. We're still waiting on the Continental friendly. Obviously, I spoke about us playing against Lens at sort of the end of July, early August. But we're still waiting on news of one more friendly that's going to be abroad. Now, still none the wiser on what's going on there. I think I mentioned on the last podcast, more than likely they're going to be, the last update, sorry, they're going to more than likely be doing a training camp somewhere and then do a friendly abroad as well. But I'm really hoping to go, so fingers crossed they can announce that sooner rather than later. But let's jump into a couple of pieces of transfer news. Let's start off with a big-ish one, I suppose. There's no real update on whether Nelson Semedo is going to be signing the deal to stay at Wolves, but certainly the chances of him staying have been given a big boost. Now, I failed to mention it on the last video, actually, that Marseille, the French club, were one of the newest sides to be interested in Nelson Semedo. They had apparently put a contract offer there. There were talks between Marseille and Nelson's entourage. Of course, there were other rumours recently talking about Benfica potentially being a team that was still interested in Nelson Semedo, but the press in Portugal pretty much ruled that one out, saying they can't reach the demands of Semedo. And I've said this many times before on previous update videos, especially with the offer that Wolves have reportedly got on the table. Nobody else in Europe, apart from sides in Saudi Arabia, would be able to match what Wolves are offering Nelson Semedo. I felt that from the start, and I still feel that now. Now, he had a big boost yesterday that Marseille apparently are no longer in negotiations with Nelson Semedo due to the player's salary demands. Now, if he's on similar terms to what he's on now, if not a little bit more, that's still quite a lot of money. And there's not many teams outside of England, in Europe at least, that can afford that or want to be able to pay that to a player that's not necessarily going to be a top player at these sides. So I think this gives Wolves a big boost. Like I said, the only sort of spanner in the mix could be if somebody from Saudi Arabia comes in and tries to hijack this deal. But I certainly think Semedo staying at Wolves now is an even bigger possibility, an even bigger percentage than it was previously. So, big boost there for Wolves overnight as well. Sticking with the theme of France as well, Wolves yesterday were linked with the striker William Goalscorer, 23 years of age. I remember this guy. If you're a fan of the Football Manager game, he was a fantastic player on there a few years ago. Sort of taking a little step away from the sort of limelight in France and moved across to Switzerland, played for St. Gallen last season, where he got 14 goals and 3 assists in the Swiss Super League, slowly becoming a player that's sort of looking a bit sharper and looking closer to the quality that he should be having. A number of clubs interested in him across Europe, a number of teams in England, I think a couple of teams in the Bundesliga as well. Now, in terms of fee, this is going to be pretty low, I would assume. It was Foot Mercato in France that reported about this, and they reckon a fee of around 10 million euros would probably get the deal done. And I think for a player who's still quite raw but got the potential, just coming off the back of a pretty solid season, albeit in the Swiss League, but we have had players go out there. Totti Gomez, before coming back to Wolves, had a couple of years in the Swiss League to really solidify himself. Took him about a year and really sort of has now become a solid part of the Wolves team. I think this could happen as well here. But fairly low risk fee for a player that's come off a really good season. Could be an interesting buy for Wolves, and I think with his qualities, he could maybe play a little bit deeper out wide. But as a number 9 would be a really decent option. So 23 years of age, William Goalscorer, that's one to maybe keep our eye on over the next few weeks of the transfer window. But Wolves, not the only team interested in him. Again, another player that's got a lot of interest apparently is Vladimir Kufal, the right back from West Ham United, leaving West Ham on a free at the end of the year, and Wolves have been credited with one of the teams reportedly interested in the Czech Republic fullback. A lot of people frustrated and maybe turning their nose up at this one a little bit. I get it. A lot of interest from the sort of the lower end Premier League teams, including ourselves, Fulham, Everton, Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland also said to be interested in him. 32 years of age now. I think if Nelson goes, he's an option, but I don't think he'd set the world alight. I don't think he's been fantastic for the last 12 months or so anyway, to be honest. I thought he was awful. When we played him away a season or two ago, he practically assaulted Jean-Rick Bellegarde a couple of years ago. I don't think it'd be the worst option in the world if Semedo were to go, just purely from experience point of view. But in terms of quality, it doesn't fill me with much excitement. I think this is probably very much an agent-led article. It came from Football Insider. And this is the time of year now, especially for players that aren't under contract at a particular club. The agent is going to fuel the media and try and get him a move elsewhere. So I can see some positives, but for me, the negatives in terms of age, probably wage, in terms of quality, far outweigh the positives of this deal. So it's probably a player that I would not particularly be interested in taking up, if I'm completely honest. But that is all for today, guys. Very quick update video from me as always. Be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date, so follow us on all the socials at Talking Walls, whether you're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, and obviously hit that subscribe button here as well. But look after yourselves, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.